So the big question is this: as hardworking Americans like us, ones who weren't born rich, what side hustle can we do that'll give us more control, more freedom, and more confidence in our lives? How can we make our own money when we want, where we want, and how we want, while being our own boss and calling all the shots? What can you do right now that quickly, simply, and easily banks you an extra $1,000 to $5,000 a month? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is AJ, and welcome to the Flipping Ninja Podcast.
What is up, guys? This is AJ here, the Flipping Ninja. Have a killer podcast for you today, and it has to do with using flipping as a vehicle to replace your full-time job. So if you want to find out how to use flipping to replace your full-time job and do it the right way, this podcast is gonna break it down for you into 5 steps. So I've come up with 5 steps for you to follow that you can use flipping as a vehicle to replace your full-time job. So maybe you're someone listening to this who, works a full-time job or even a part-time job. Maybe you're like, oh man, this sucks. I'm miserable here. I want to find something on the side and eventually quit, hopefully. Maybe you're someone who works a job already and you love your job and you're just looking for some side cash on the side, and this will also help you become more successful as well. So there's 5 steps. There's 5 steps that I use that I would tell someone who wants to replace their full-time job with flipping and do it successfully and do it the right way. Okay, so step number 1, the first step is keep your job. That's right. I know how tempting it is if you're working at a job and you dread going in every morning and you're just like, oh my God, this sucks. I want to try something else. I've heard about flipping and I heard how profitable it is and I heard how easy and simple it is, and those things are all true. So you might be tempted to take the plunge. Okay, don't jump yet. Okay, so keep in mind, the name of this podcast is how to use flipping to replace your full-time job and do it the right way. Okay, now the right way may, the definition of the right way could be different for you. So I'm kind of generalizing because it's not that one way is right and one way is wrong. I guess I should rephrase and say how to use flipping to replace your full-time job the safe way. Because the truth is, for some people, pressure is good. So for example, if you're working at a job right now, like I said, the first step is to keep your job. You want to get good first, and you want to keep your job while you get good first and make sure that you're going to be successful. You want to secure your success. Basically, you want to secure the fact that you're going to be able to make money flipping, once you quit your job. So for some people, pressure, the pressure of just jumping and quitting your job and just trying to, have at it, trying to take a risk, that pressure, that chaos, for some people, that is, good. Pressure for some people, the thing with pressure is there's a dark side to pressure and there's a bright side to pressure, right? So for some people, when they're under pressure, they totally get into peak performance, right? For some people, when they're under pressure, they prefer that. They like being under pressure because it pushes them. But for a lot of other people, they don't like pressure. They have to be, they have to make sure that this is going to work. They want to feel secure. They want to feel safe about it. And they just feel that, they want to be smart about it. They want to make sure they're successful. They don't want to start something and then fail and then, feel bad about it. So it's not that, neither is right or wrong. It's more, what is your personality type, right? So for me, for example, I perform well under chaos. So like when everything is, going crazy all around me and there's all this pressure and chaos and everything is just, set on fire all around me, I actually perform really well because it kind of gives me this this push and this edge, that kind of like this nudge that just forces me to act and do things that are, may take a little longer otherwise, or maybe a little harder otherwise. So personally, I perform well under chaos. Others don't. Some people don't like that. That's totally fine. But like I said, the first step, either way, whether you're a risk taker or you perform well under chaos or not, or you want to do it the safe way, the first step to using flipping to replace your full-time job is to keep your job. Okay, you want to keep it. Because why? I'll go into why. Okay, so that's the first step. The second step, step number 2 to using flipping as a vehicle to replacing your full-time job, is start doing it on the side. Okay, start getting involved in flipping and buying and reselling. Learn it and jump into learning it and doing it, after work, on the weekends, etc. So start dipping your toes, and even if it's just a tiny bit, small steps, you want to just jump in and start doing it bit by bit. Okay, you always hear people say, how do you eat an elephant? Right? One bite at a time. Right? So inch by inch, everything is a cinch. Okay, remember that. So you want to start small. You want to start doing it outside of your full-time job and start getting momentum. Okay, start getting momentum. Start making actual money. I don't care if it's $5 you just made off of your first baby flip, or like your tiny flip. I don't care if it's a small amount of profit or if it's just like, super lame and small. That doesn't matter. It's not lame and small. The key is that momentum. You want to start that momentum going. You want to start actually making money. Okay, you want to start actually making money and starting small on the side. The reason for all this is that it's not about the money right now. So when you're still working your full-time job, it's not about, when you start flipping on the side, it's not about the money as much as it is about something that's a million times more critical and priceless. And what is that? It's when you start on the side, you're actually learning and developing other business and entrepreneurial skills like discipline, ambition, time management, energy. These skill sets that you're going to develop and learn when you start, that you need to be successful with flipping, these are the skill sets and traits that will make you a machine and to make you have a successful business. Okay, without those entrepreneurial business skills and traits and personal development skills, things like time management, doing things whether you feel like it or not, without those traits, you lose. I don't care if you're the best flipper, buyer, and reseller in the whole world. If you don't have those traits, you just simply won't last long. You could do it a couple times, whenever, make, a couple $1,000, a couple $100, which is cool, but it's not going to be sustainable. Now, keep in mind, we're talking about replacing your full-time job. So we're not talking about this as just a side hustle of just, using flipping as a vehicle to replace your, using flipping as a vehicle to make money on the side. This podcast episode specifically is about using flipping to replace your full-time job. Totally replace it. So that means the money you're making from your job right now, you have to start making with flipping so that you can quit. Okay? And to do that, it's not as easy as just having, one-off flips here and there. You have to have these, develop these skill sets so that you can keep going, so that you can stay successful. It kind of reminds me of the whole, everyone wants to be their own boss, right? Everyone says that. It's like, oh, I want to be my own boss and just, do what I want when I want. The funny thing, the truth about the whole be your own boss idea is that probably 90% of people, if you were to take 90% of people, if you were to take them and literally put them in a position where they actually are their own boss, because that's what they wanted, right? They're like, I want to be my own boss. That'd be awesome. I'll do so well. If 90% of people, if you put them in a position where they're their own boss, do you know what's going to happen? what's going to happen is this. The first few days is going to be freaking epic. I mean, you've got freedom. You've got total control of your time. You've got, it's awesome. The first few weeks, weeks will pass. It's still going to be awesome. But what's going to happen? So here's the thing. Those people who want to be their own boss, if you were to put them in a position where they are their own boss, most people will only last a few weeks before they will realize what it actually takes to be your own boss. And it's not pleasant. I mean, people, there are obviously, it's awesome, they're pros to it, but they don't realize that there's so much to being your own boss. They're obsessed with the dream and fantasy of the freedom and all the good things about it, but they're totally blindsided to the other things that you need. For example, and those are things like the traits that I'm explaining to you right now that you have to develop on the side while you're still working your full-time job, like discipline, ambition, time management skills, energy management, and basically how to think, right? So most people who claim that they want to be their own boss, if you actually make them their own boss, they will be miserable and they'll be like, please take me back. I hate this. Just take me back to where I was before, right? So that's the whole deal with, that's the reason you want to start it on the side, because you want to first build those skills. And it might take a while. It might take, months, years even, right? It might take a while to develop those things, but you want to start building them now so that you can eventually be able to quit your full-time job and have a sustainable flipping, buying and reselling business that actually works, that actually serves you, so that you can actually enjoy the freedom of being your own boss, right? You want to make sure those traits are natural to you, okay? You want to build them and get to a point where they're just part of your subconscious mind. You don't even have to think about them. You don't even have to think. They're just completely natural to you. And here's the other thing. Developing those traits, those entrepreneurial business traits, will blow up in 10x your whole life. It's going to serve you and benefit you in every other part of your life, beyond your wildest dreams, okay? So that's step number 2. Start doing it on the side. So step number 1, keep your job. Step number 2, start doing it on the side. Jump in and start small. Start building that momentum of flipping things and trying to learn and gain as much information as possible, okay? And you want to keep doing that. Got it? So step number 3 is track your progress, okay? You need to track your profits, your losses, how much money you're making. You need a system, or you need an app, or you need to track your progress somehow so that you know how much you're making. You know what the hell is going on. I mean, if you're flipping things and you don't know how much you're making and how much time you're spending on it, how are you ever going to, know or be in a position where you can replace your full-time job if you don't even know how much you're making, right? I mean, it sounds like it's common sense, but common sense ain't so common these days, okay? So you need to track your progress, okay? Part of the Flipping Ninja Blueprint Masterclass, there's a Flipping Ninja profits and tracking app that I have that completely does all that for you. It's literally a system that tracks your whole business, so that you can literally see, it's color-coded, your profits, how much you're making. Once you're able to visually see that, you can start saying, okay, hey, shoot, I'm actually making $500 a week flipping things. That's $2,000 a month. That's not bad. Wow, I actually have an income now. I actually created an income from flipping. And that's the key. You don't want to just use flipping. You don't look at flipping as just a side hustle to make money on the side. Look at it, you have to start looking at it as an income. Okay, you're creating an income, and the tracking app, or basically tracking your profits, is what will allow you to actually see how much of an income you're now making. So it's not just money anymore, but an income. I mean, you have money coming in, right? So that's the next thing. You want to start tracking your how much money you're making. Step number 4 is get gooder, okay? Get better. You want to keep skilling up, okay? Get even better than you were when you first started in step 2. So you just want to keep going at it. Keep skilling up, keep gathering information. You want to get to a point where you literally are just a natural at flipping. You barely have to think about it, and you're making $2,000, $3,000 a month, okay? You want to get even better. And what does that require? Information and experience. You need the right knowledge so that you can keep practicing it, so that your subconscious just completely gets immersed in it, and your subconscious just acts on its own like a machine. You know, just like your heart is constantly beating without you consciously doing it. It's just doing it on its own. You want to get to that level with flipping so that you're just a master at it, okay? You want to get good at every aspect of flipping. So finding good deals, you know, knowing how to quickly determine value on something, right? Knowing how to write ads that sell like crazy. Knowing how to take photos that sell. How to use words in your ads that just completely compel people to call you and want to buy your items despite being higher priced than others posted, right? How to sell and post in items, where to post items, how to find items, where do you find stuff, right? So step number 4 is you just want to get freaking better. You want to become a master before you quit your full-time job, okay? Where you basically want to have the Midas touch, where everything you touch turns to gold. You basically want to become a virtual ATM machine, okay, where you can literally generate money almost on demand because you're that good. You know how to create money. You know how to do this. You know this business. You want to make it your own. So that's step number 4. You want to you just simply want to get really good at it and skill up. That requires knowledge, training, you know, experience, practice, all that good stuff. The last step, step number 5, is simply you just do it. You just take the jump. Now, here's the thing. When I say take the jump of quitting your job, by the time you reach step number 5, it's not even going to be a matter of taking a jump. It's not going to be a matter of making a scary decision. It's not going to be any of that. Why? Because by the time you're at step number 5, you've reached a level of confidence. You've reached a level of confidence where it's going to be easy. Okay, it's not even a matter of, oh shoot, this is scary. I'm going to try this and see what happens. When you're at step number 5, you've reached a level of confidence where, first of all, you're making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month easily flipping on the side, and it's not even, you don't even think about it, right? You're so confident at this point. So step number 5 is you do it. You quit your job and you flip things full time, and you enjoy the freedom that comes with it, okay? And let me just top this off. Let me just give you a glimpse of why this 5-step process is one of the best ways of doing it for most people, okay? So here's the thing. You've reached the point where you're making $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month flipping on your spare time while you're working a full-time job, right? Think about this. Your full-time job is 40 hours. 8 hours a day you work at your job. You've been doing this completely on the side on your spare time with a couple hours here and there. You've been doing this with a few hours here and there, doing it on the weekends. Now, the moment you quit, you've suddenly have been given 40 hours of your time back per week that you can use to do whatever you want. So that means 8 hours a day. So you've been working 40 hours per week at your job. This is almost, think of it as your reward. Your reward for getting to step 5 and getting really good at flipping and making money buying and reselling things and marketing and developing all these traits that we talked about, because you did that, now your reward is you're given 40 hours back to you to use for whatever you want. So if you've been making that much money with, let's say, 10 to 15 hours per week, how much can you make with 40 hours per week? How much can you make with 40 or 50 hours per week? Do you guys see how flipping is such a versatile and flexible and powerful skill set, and one of the best side hustles to learn and get really good at and start? Do you guys see that? Because you're no longer in a trade your time for dollars world. The moment you get into flipping, buying and reselling, you're suddenly in a profits and marketing world. They're two different worlds, two different realities. Okay, most people, who start side hustles, there's a lot of people who do Uber, for example. They drive Uber on their spare time for extra cash. But what's the problem with Uber? Can anyone think of the problem with Uber? Okay, the problem with Uber is that you're still in a trading your time for dollars world. And that's not a profitable world to be in. That's not a profitable world, both money-wise and time-wise. I mean, you're basically trading your time. You're trading your time for scraps. Okay, you're trading your time, which you can't get back. See, money, you can make lots of money. You can lose lots of money. You can always make it back. Okay, if you lose money, you can always make that money back. It comes and goes, but time, guys, once your time is gone, you can never get that back. So my question to you is, would you rather operate in a trade your time for scraps world, trading your hours for scraps world, or would you rather operate in a profits and marketing world? A profits and marketing world where time, it's not about time. It's not about time. It's about skill set. It's about profits. It's about marketing. Okay, two different worlds. A lot of people who get into flipping, they'll make more in an hour than a heart surgeon will make. I mean, sometimes you'll find something cool for, $50, for example. You'll turn around and sell it for $1,500. Okay? And the whole thing, let's say it took you 60 minutes to do the whole thing, to find the item, take it home, post it up for sale, take pictures, write the ad, basic stuff. Let's say it took you 1 hour. You just made over $1,400 in 60 minutes of your time. I mean, how can Uber or how can any other side hustle offer that? How would that be possible? Right? Do you guys see where I'm going with this? So there you go. There you have it. The 5 steps to replacing your full-time job with flipping. Step number 1, keep your job. Step number 2, start doing it on the side. Get really good at it. Start small. Step number 3, track your progress, track your success, and track how much money you're making. Step number 4, get even better, become a master, become an expert, become a flipping ninja. Step number 5, you're just made of confidence. You just do it. You just quit. You make the decision from a place of power. You make the decision from a place of confidence and power, where you're not doing it reactively. You're doing it proactively. There's no greater feeling than making a decision and quitting your job yourself. Until next time, and remember, you're always just one flip away from freedom. See you guys.
This has been the Flipping Ninja Podcast. From the crew at theflippingninja.com, we believe that all Americans should be able to make their own money without having to rely on a job. If you're ready to ditch the 9-to-5, visit theflippingninja.com and join our Flipping Ninja Blueprint Masterclass, where you'll discover how to earn a reliable side income of $1,000 to $5,000 a month flipping things with just 5 to 10 hours a week. See, we're on a mission to help 100,000 people earn $1,000 a month on the side flipping things. Working professionals, students, parents, men, women, artists, techies, entrepreneurs, introverts, total newbies, you name it. Be a part of the revolution and blast out of living paycheck to paycheck once and for all at www.theflippingninja.com. Until next time, remember, you're just one flip away from freedom. Want to make a difference? If you enjoyed today's show, please pay it forward and head over to iTunes. Give us a rating and leave a review so others just like you can benefit and take charge of their financial future.